Alright, gonna make some what they call the Tec Pens. These little pens with this stylus on them. I got some of these kits. I got them in the gun and the gold. I got 6 different types of wood, all stabilized. I got some of my tubes all out of the bags. So I'm gonna get these cut up and we're gonna drill them and go ahead and get them glued in, and we'll go from there. Alright, now all these tubes on these kits I buy here, they come smooth, so depends on where you get them, whether they're smooth or rough. But if they're smooth, you can go over them and rough them. Some of these I've had sitting in my cabinet here for quite some time and even start getting discolored. But once you rough them up, they're okay. Let's see here, where's that one? Yeah, it's been sitting in here in my cabinet for a little while, but these are my spares. That'll clean out whenever I go to mill the ends. And I just use the CA medium on this. I've tried some of the thin, and that just, I don't know, it just don't get down, it don't fill in the void too much, so as much as this does. And get your piece of wood and shove it in there. Sometimes you gotta be pretty quick on that. I've had them get stuck, and when they get stuck in there, it's just a pain. You end up gotta pretty much drill it out. But some of these is pretty stiff. I may need to get me another drill bit. Drill bits seem to work okay, but sometimes when they start getting dull, they don't get the full OD. But as long as you can still get them in there if they good and tight, and a lot of glue, the better. The more glue with as tight as you can get it, that's usually a better fit, and it'll last longer that way. But like I say, sometimes when your drill bit starts getting dull, they just don't want to go, and then you just get a different drill bit. Them little brad tip point drill bits I like the best for this wood. They seem to drill the straightest, and I can just put it wherever I want to, and it'll go in, especially on this end grain. A regular drill bit, I can sharpen them, but they just don't go in exactly where I want to, especially when you get the bigger tubes for the bigger pens. You have less room for error. These 7 and 8 millimeter there, you got plenty of room for a little bit of error there. Now if you look over here on the left, straight and left, I got the blue. That may not do so well. There it goes. I got the blue mat and I got a pink mat. The pink mat is a cheaper set that I got off Amazon. It comes 3 mats for a cheap price, and you get what you pay for. They're pretty thin. They tear fairly easy, but they still keep the glue off of my table. I like this blue mat. It don't tear as easy. It's a little bit thicker, but it's just a silicone mat. It has a little divider up top if I got to put some small parts. But either way, both of them work pretty good as far as releasing on glue. If you want to do something like, need something for that, get some of them. If you ain't ever used this super glue before, you'll get a little bit of glue right there. You get you a rag or some paper towels, and anytime you use it, I don't care whether you're doing this, putting a daub here or there, or finishing, get all that glue off of there and keep it standing upright. Otherwise that cap gets tight. There we go. We'll let that sit probably until tomorrow, and then we'll come out here and finish them up. Oh, that's gonna make such a pretty pen. I love that sycamore. Oh yeah, that's gonna work out just nice. I like that. Alright, these little kits, like I say, I get these from Rising Industries out of China, but they sell the same ones and some of the US distributors are made in Taiwan, but seems like everything's made overseas. It's inexpensive these days, but anyway, these are some of the easiest I've found to put together. It's just two little presses and it's done. It's hard to mess up. But anyway, with the super glue on there, you always just want to touch up the ends. Make sure you don't have any little lumps of super glue, otherwise it ain't going to sit down square. And that'll be easily noticed. But these, your nut, it comes on these. And that presses in. See that little nut there? So I just leave it screwed in well, not all the way, but screw it in all the way and then back it off about a half a turn or so. My fingers have difficulties. Okay, it's backed off half turn to a turn. Then you press it on one side. And then you can take this little bolt action piece, press it on the other side. And you unscrew it. Drop your ink refill in. Put your spring in. There you go. Now, one unique thing about these, they have this end, which is a stylish end, but it also has the stylus end cap that comes with them. And usually I'll put the stylus on them. A lot of people think that's pretty cool. Then I'll put the end cap. I'll save these. Sometimes if I think about it, whenever I sell one, I'll give them that just in case. Because that is the only, I guess, bad thing I've ever seen about these is that this unscrews fairly easy. And people lose that, and that's more of a user thing, not taking care of the stuff, but it's pretty simple, goes together. I like them. Okay, now here's all my little finished pens, these Tec Pens. You see me turn this one, that's the Sycamore. And this is that's Pepper, that's Dogwood. And them three are finished with the Odie's oil, which just gives it a natural finish. This is that Beech, Cherry, and Willow. And I got all these three finished with a CA glue, which the CA glue you can put on anything that I know of, and it does good as long as you alcohol it and get rid of the oils first. But you really need a good smooth finish to be able to get a good finish on. You need a good smooth sanding and a smooth wood in order to be able to get a good finish with your Odie's oil. Some of your real grainy woods, like some of your oaks or hickories or pecans, something like that, you may not be able to get as good a finish on this small product. But I mean, it's easy to use. I like it, and it seems pretty durable. I like these best for my use because I'm always oily, greasy, and sweaty, and that CA glue just protects it the best if you ask me. But like I say, these here are simple to make, easy to put together, and they seem to be pretty popular. So just give me a shout. Tell me what you think of the video and the finishes and the pens. And if you like it, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, you can give me a thumbs down. That's okay. And I will catch y'all on the next one.